In 2018, EmperorS4 blessed us with Walking in Burano. This is a beautiful game that I managed to get my hands on last year at Spiel 2023, together with Walking in Burano Roll and Write and Walking in Provence. This is the first of those three games that I have played, and I want to tell you absolutely all about it. So play wheel. Walking in Burano is a game for 1 to 4 people, ages 10 and up, although to be honest I would argue that maybe children 8, 9 could easily play this game as well, and it plays in about 30 to 40 minutes. Surprisingly enough, because I always complain that this is usually not the case, but this time they actually nailed the amount of time that it takes to play this game. The cover of the box is absolutely gorgeous. The color palette is delightful. Love the illustrative artwork. It just feels so evocative and reminiscent of the island of Burano. And the back of the box shows us what the game, once it's set up, is going to be like. Now, I have played this game, so I want to tell you a little bit more how it plays and how it looks on the table. So let me set it up for you very quickly. And this is Walking in Burano. So what do we have on the table? Well, firstly, let me explain to you that the game is all about walking around Burano. You're going to create your own street. Each player is going to create their own street. And you're going to be taking different parts of the buildings. You can only have 3 floors. So ground floor, first floor and second floor, or first, second and third floor, depending when you are in the world. You call it whatever you want. Fine by me, but for the purpose of this video would be ground, first and second floor. Okay, that's how we do it in Europe. That's where I am, so sorry about that. And we have a number of cards with these buildings. We have some inhabitants for the island, which are the real inhabitants who actually live there. These are these characters, and the tourists. And because you're going to be taking on these cards and creating your own buildings, every time that you complete a building, so that is ground, first and second floor, you're going to choose somebody to live in there. And depending on who you choose, at the end of the game, they are going to award you some points. And the player with the highest number of points wins the game. As simple as that. That winning is recorded here on this notebook, where you have the points for the left, second left, third left, fourth, and the rightest. And then how many shops, how many non-broken rules tokens, I'll go into that in just a minute, and how many closed windows, because those closed windows are going to subtract some points. Not very many, but annoyingly enough, a few. So we also have a few reference cards that will tell you how many points and why each member of the public is going to award you at the end of the game. So what you're going to do as a player is choose between taking 1 2 or 3 cards every single round. You can take up to 3, which means that you would go to a column like the one that I can see in here and take the 3 cards. You can take 2 cards, which means that you could either take the first floor or the ground floor and the first floor, or the second floor and the first floor. That's it. You would not be able to take cards from different columns, and you have to take adjacent cards. So top down, basically. So you cannot take ground floor and first floor. You have to take the 2 consecutive floors. So every single round you're going to be doing that and placing those cards in front of you to create a 5x3 pattern or grid. And there's where you're going to complete your houses. If you take 2 cards, then you're going to be earning money. And if you take 1 card only, then you will be earning even more money, which you do need to do, because in order to place the cards on the board in front of you, you have to pay 1 penny for the first floor, 2 pennies for the second floor, and 2 pennies for the third floor. And when I say floor, I mean that you can put 3 ground floors all together, and that would be $5 or euros or whatever you want to call it, pennies, whatever. So say that, for instance, I am going to take 3 cards, and because this is just for our own amusement, I'm going to take this, this, and that, and these are going to come to my hand. And when the round has finished, that is, when all players have taken the cards on the table, then we're going to replenish the streets to get new buildings. So let's assume I'm going to cheat in here, okay? That I am going to do, this is blue, but we don't have any other blue. Blimey, this is very annoying. This is very irritating because I cannot make a single one of these work. Okay, so I can make yellow. So let's say, just for the sake of making this video quicker, all right, that I have these 3 cards, which are a yellow ground floor with an ice cream parlor, a yellow first floor with some flowers, and the top floor, second floor, with a cat and a chimney. So once you have completed this, you choose which one of the inhabitants you want to go in. And we have 2 different types of inhabitants, the people who actually live and the tourists. You can differentiate them because the people who live in the islands are always to the left of the card and the tourists are always on the right. The difference is that the inhabitants are going to give you an overall goal for your constructions. For example, if we go for the florist, she's going to give you points based on how many flowers you have around your grid, but not in the middle. Whereas if you went for this tourist here, which is going to give you 1 point per flower, it would be 1 point per flower all over town. It wouldn't matter if they're on the side, in the middle, or anywhere at all. If you went, for example, for the mayor, it would give you 1 point per pedestrian. So here I would already get 3 points because there are 3 pedestrians. And that's how you would be scoring. You can see how I have here 2 scaffolding cards. They are double-sided, and they are 1 base ground floor and 1 base first floor. You can use this and combine them and move them and flip them as many times as you need in order to be able to put the cards that you think you're going to need at any given time. And they can be very useful, and then they can be disregarded as the street is completed. The first player to get the 5 buildings built triggers the end of the game. And when all players have finished their turn, the game is over, and then you score, and that is it. There are a couple of things that you have to keep in mind when placing your buildings on the board, though. One is that you cannot have 2 cards, also 2 buildings of the same color adjacently. That's it. It's tricky at times. If you break any of the rules, then you would be losing one of these tokens. Each one of those tokens that you retain by the end of the game is going to give you 3 points. So this could mean 12 points. We didn't feel the need to cheat at any given time. So it is a very nice to have rule, but I don't think it is all that necessary. The game indeed plays in about 30 to 40 minutes, and that is taking into consideration that we were learning how to play it. The rules, funnily enough, are actually very well written, and this is something that I welcome very much indeed, because one of the latest and last games from EmperorS4 that I played, World Splitters, the experience was tarnished because it was very difficult to understand how the game played. Once we learned, the game is brilliant, really, really good fun. But to get to that point, it was so hard to navigate through the rules that we felt very, very frustrated. This is not so with Walking in Burano. It really feels very polished. They've obviously had a proofreader and editor taking a look at the rules, and it shows. We loved playing this game. We were 3 players. We didn't feel there was an awful lot of player interaction, but that is actually fine. But there is enough that it doesn't feel like a solitaire multiplayer sort of game. We really liked it. It looks super pretty on the board, on the table, once everything is done. It's very easy to teach, and it is very rewarding because depending on what inhabitants you use or choose for your buildings, it's going to have a different feel and gives you a different strategy every single time. So there is a fair amount of replayability for this game. So I do wholeheartedly recommend it. I have loved it, and I cannot wait to play it again and even try the solo version, which also comes in the rulebook, even though I haven't tried it yet. So I am excited about this. I am super excited to trying Walking in Burano roll and write. I'm also very excited to try Walking in Provence, because if they play anywhere near as good at this, I'm going to have light games to play with my non-player friends for a very, very long time. Have you played this game already? What did you make of it? Did you like it? Did you not? And why? I would love to hear your opinion. So please leave it in the video comments. That would be absolutely fantastic. But in the meantime, thank you so very much for being there. It is truly, truly appreciated. And I will talk to you very soon indeed. So play we all.